Hello, friends. Are you ready for your snippet last for 2024 as we go into the new year? Well, hold on. We're going to talk about the effects of humiliation and mortification today, December 30th, 1899, Volume 3. Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas. I hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas celebration, and we're still in the octave of Christmas as we continue to celebrate the birth of our Lord and all that that entails, everything that He's given us. And so I wanted to put out a snippet tonight um, from December the 30th as we're approaching. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. So we're going to be going into a whole new year. And I think it's a great time. On the new year, a lot of times we just want to sort of have a reset, a refresh, to rededicate ourselves to um, pursuing the things of the Lord and our faith and making a commitment to become stronger in our faith. And so I thought this was a great time. And so I looked up today, and today, here's what we have. So it's from December 30th, 1899, in Volume 3. And Luisa starts, "This morning, I saw my adorable Jesus for just a little, and since obedience had told me to pray for a certain person, when Jesus came, I commended her to him, and he said to me, 'Humiliation must not only be accepted, but also loved, so much so as to chew it like food. And just as when a food is bitter, the more one chews it, the more he feels the bitterness. In the same way, humiliation, when it is well chewed, gives rise to mortification.' And these, that is, humiliation and mortification, are two most powerful means in order to get out of certain hitches and obtain those graces which are needed. While it seems to be noxious to the human nature, just like the bitter food, which seems to do harm rather than good, so with humility and mortification. But it is not so. The more the piece of iron is beaten on the anvil, the more it sparkles with fire and is purged. The same for the soul. The more she is humiliated and beaten on the anvil of mortification, the more she sparkles with celestial fire and is purged. If she really wants to walk along the path of good, if then she is false, it happens all the opposite." Wow. So, in this very simple message, straightforward message, Jesus is telling Luisa, humiliation and mortification is purging. It's for our purification. And it even said, I realized it as I had been saying, we need a reset sometimes. And the new year is a great time to do that. And we make all kinds of resolutions, or we make new commitments to some of the things that are important to us. And so he says, humiliation and mortification are two most powerful means in order to get out of certain hitches and obtain those graces which are needed. And sometimes the hitches we get into is sort of a little bit of apathy or laziness about our prayer or our reading in the divine will, or, um, you know, offering our day up in the morning offering in the Prevenient Act. All of these things add up to graces that helps us to be mindful and live in the divine will. And that humiliation, which leads to mortification, is not something to be dreaded, not something to be uh, uh, discouraging, but something that should be known as uh, really a gift from God. Saint Teresa, I always say this, Saint Teresa of Avila said, if I could, if I knew what suffering meant, I'd come back and I'd suffer more. And so accepting our suffering many times, I know it's not easy. Sometimes there are tremendous, tremendous, painful circumstances that come into our lives, and we have a very hard time accepting it and suffering through it. And this mortification that we have to um, acquiesce to God's will, this mortification of the fact that we are not in charge here. God is in charge. If He allows it, maybe it's not in His ordained will. Maybe it's just in His permissive will that we're allowed to do whatever we're allowed to do. We have free will, and sometimes we mess ourselves up more than God trips us up. That's for sure. And so when we do, we need to um, work at accepting it, accept the humiliation, accept the mortification, recognize what it is that needs to be purged from us. Is it our pride? Is it our finances? Is it our attention? It could be a number of things that are defects in our character that need to be straightened out. And so the more time we spend uh, lamenting the fact that we have these, of course, there are times when we're going to have legitimate pain. Someone dies, we're going to have legitimate pain. Something tragic happens, something terrible happens, something catastrophic happens. But for Jesus' sake and for our own salvation, it's important for us to step back 2 steps, try to step back 2 steps from it as soon as we can and say, okay, Lord, I don't know, is this happening in your ordained will or in your permissive will? Was it something you brought, or is it something I brought on myself, or we brought on ourselves? I just did a recording for Mother in Refuge from Luz de Marie about some of the chastisements that we may be seeing. Yes, we may see troubling times. We may see war. We may see natural disaster. But these things are a consequence of our own sin. In reality, you know, God allows us to mess up. So, yes, we mess up. We make mistakes. We take 2 steps forward and 1 step back sometimes. But it's not for nothing. I always say it's not for nothing. It's to purge us, it's to mold us, it's to form us into the image of Christ. So let us make a new commitment in this coming year to get beyond whatever is hitching us up, beyond whatever is tripping us up. If you need answers, seek them. If you need clarity, seek it. If you need help, ask for it. If you've been negligent, step it up. I think we can all do that. I think we can all step up our reading and our prayer. But I thought this was a great reading, especially for coming into the new year. And I want to wish you all a very blessed new year. And Wednesday is a holy day. And a wonderful octave of Christmas. So until next time, I'll see you again soon. I know I've been sort of offline here lately, but with the holidays and some of the things that were going on with my own family, um, I kind of had to take a break, but it's back to work. So let's all pray. Let's get together and continue studying and living and growing in the divine will. So until next time, remember to continue to live in His will. Bye bye.